Hello students, today's agenda is to check homework. You'll be learning about perpendicular and parallel lines as well as bisectors, and you will be able to do 10.2. Today students will be able to construct a perpendicular line, a parallel line, a perpendicular bisector, and an angle bisector. And so I'm going to start by giving you some definitions, and then I'll show you the demonstration. So if you can start by copying this, it says perpendicular lines, lines that intersect forming right angles. So every time that you see two lines that meet and they form a right angle, they are perpendicular lines. Sometimes they go like all the way. Sometimes you will have one line and they're still perpendicular, or sometimes you will have something like this to form right angle and that's still perpendicular. And so in here it says construct a perpendicular line through point Q. And so I already did this, but I'm gonna show you how to do it. And let's say that they give you a line, maybe line XY, line segment XY, and they give you a point not on the line, let's call it point Q. And so they want you to draw a line that is exactly going down to form a right angle. And the way to do it is that you will be continuing using your compass and your straight edge. Okay, and so what you do is from the point, you're going to open your compass so that it goes a little farther than the line, making sure that you can mark twice on the line. Okay, so I can mark it here. Okay, making sure that I put my point in point Q, and I mark the first arc and a second arc in here. So I think I close it. Okay, let me erase it. We have to be very careful that it doesn't close on us, otherwise it's not gonna come. Okay, again, let me grab it from here. Maybe I'll do it lighter. So that's gonna be one arc and then another arc. That's much better. There you go. Okay, so you need those two arcs in there. They have to be on the line, and the other point is on point Q. Those intersections become the new point where you're going to put this point of the compass. And so again, you're going to do on the other side of the line, you're going to mark an arc and do, without opening or closing it, you do the same thing on the other marking. And so you get that. Okay, and that intersection becomes a point where my perpendicular line will go through. Okay, so by connecting these two points, I'm getting the perpendicular line, a line that intersects with another line, forming right angles. Okay, and in class I ask students to come up with their own way of describing this, and these are some lines that they said. So the first thing that you have to do is to from point Q, create two arcs on the line. From each arc, make another arc on the other side of the line. So from each arc, another arc on the other side of the line, and connect the 2 points, the point that is created by these arcs with point Q, and that's your perpendicular bisector. So maybe pause the video so that you can take these notes. Okay, now we're going to draw parallel lines. And so parallel lines are lines that do not meet, and they are on the same plane. The symbol, oh, and I forgot to share the symbol for the other one. For perpendicular lines, the symbol is like if we have line AB and DC, then a line segment AB is perpendicular to line segment DC. Okay, that's the symbol for saying that they are perpendicular. This is the symbol for parallel. So line segment AB is parallel to line segment DC. Okay, let's say that these two lines are line AB and DC. And so it says construct a parallel line through point Q. And so let's say that I have a line, okay? I have a line and I have a point. Maybe I'll draw it here. And what you learn about creating or making congruent angles will be helpful here. So the first step that you're gonna do is draw a line that goes through the point and through the line that they have given us already. Okay, so you're gonna draw a line that goes through the point and through the line. It doesn't matter at what angle. It can be like this, it can be like this, it can be like this. It doesn't matter as long as it touches point and line. Okay, so I'm gonna draw it very lightly, a line in there. Make sure that it's big enough so that you can have an extra space in there. And so this is what you learned in the previous lesson. So you're going to copy this angle. See how there is an angle formed by the given line and the line that you drew? You're going to copy that angle. And by copy, I mean you follow the steps. Draw a line, draw an arc in here and also in here. Okay. And the third step was to, if you don't remember, you can go ahead and review 10.1, the previous lesson. You measure the width of the arc, and you're gonna measure in here, but we're gonna turn it around. So measure like this, and you're gonna copy that angle. And so this intersection and this point get connected, and by doing that we see that these two lines are parallel to each other. If you have seen the concept of corresponding angles in parallel lines, then those are congruent. Okay, and this is what you get. So in class, these are the steps that we came up with. So the first thing is to draw a line through point Q intersecting AB. Then we construct congruent angles. And if you don't remember that part, you can go ahead and review on 10.1. And finally, draw the line. Okay, through that intersection and the point, you draw the line. Okay, and those are parallel lines. So the markings for parallel lines are like two little arrows, whoops, on the lines, and that shows me that these two lines are parallel to each other. They will never meet. Okay. Okay. So take a minute to pause the video and copy it. The next one that we have is perpendicular bisector. And what is the difference between perpendicular lines and perpendicular bisectors? Well, the word perpendicular means forming right angles. Bisector means to cut into two equal parts. So here it says a line that intersects another line forming 90-degree angles and cuts the line in half. So this is, I think, one of the four, one of the two easiest ones. So you're gonna start with your line, and actually that's given to you in your assignment. So, and let me see what letters I used. So A, B. The sun is getting to us. I'm sorry. I apologize about that. And so you're gonna use your compass, and all you have to do is open it more than halfway. Okay, and you're gonna create two half moons. That's what they call it in class. Two half moons, one from each end point. That's all it takes. Okay, from the end point, one half moon. From the other end point, one half moon. Don't open it or close it. You have to use the same measurement for both ends. And it's very simple. All you have to do is draw a line through those two intersections of the half moons. Okay? And what did it do? These angles are 90 degrees. All these four angles are 90 degrees. And the other thing is that these two segments, segment A to the middle and from here to here, are exactly the same. They are congruent. Okay, we're gonna put some markings in here. So that's, well, by doing the two half moons, that's what it created. Right angles, two congruent segments. Okay? And so these are the steps. Create two half moons from each endpoint. Draw a line where the two half moons intersect. Okay, that's all it takes for you to have a perpendicular bisector. Okay, last but not least, another one that is very simple, I would say, is an angle bisector. And an angle bisector is a line that cuts an angle in half. And it doesn't matter what type of, maybe I'll do two different ones so that you can see that it doesn't matter, but it will cut it in two parts. So let me do it a little bigger. So I have this angle here. Let's call it maybe, well, let's call it PQR. And so, very easy. This is the second one that is super easy. It's just making three arcs. Okay, three arcs. And so you have one arc here. I know it's a little hard to keep that point in there, especially if you don't have enough papers underneath. And the other that you have to do, and you can open it more if you want to make sure that you get a good arc in there and that it's enough to intersect. Okay, and then from the other, so this arc was to find two other points where I'm gonna place the point of the compass and help me create two smaller arcs in here. Okay, and basically from point Q to that intersection is gonna be your line, your angle bisector. And again, what did this line do? It cut my angle into two equal angles. That's what it's doing. Okay, so this angle is congruent to this angle. Okay, let me do another one, a smaller, an acute angle. And so again, the first step is to draw an arc on the angle to find those intersections, and that's where I'm going to place my point so that I can create another arc and another arc in here. And so where the two intersect, that's where I'm gonna draw my angle bisector. So that means that these two angles are congruent to each other. Okay, I'm really sorry about the sun. Okay, I think it's kind of going away, but yes, what you do is draw an arc from each intersection, that draw another arc and draw the line. Those are the steps that you have to do to be able to create an angle bisector. Okay, so now you're able to work on 10.2, and these are our basic constructions, and we'll be needing them for future lessons. So have fun.